22. The War Within. By Nathan Hine. Chapter 1. A dark figure stands in an open field. The wind is shrieking as it blows, looking for a victim to chill. It whips through the night as the figure shivers. It achieves its goal as it howls, sounding like laughter as it blows away. The figure reaches up, grabbing on the collar of a black trench coat it's wearing, and pulls up on the collar, shielding it from this invisible, airy annoyance. There is a rumbling overhead, giving an impending warning of the fact that a storm is on its way. Then, just like a snap of a finger, crack. The thunder shoots off like a shotgun as a lightning bolt brightens up the darkness of the sky, bringing everything into view. This is a field, not in the sense of where you would plant seeds and bring things to life, but a field where you bury the dead. This is a graveyard. Just as a produce field would have markers to show what is there, so does a graveyard in the form of tombstones. What the hell am I doing here? It thinks as it stares at one tombstone in particular. Well, you were calling me for some time. I was going to show up sooner or later, answering its own rhetorical question toward the grave. The figure reached into the left pocket of the coat and pulled out a pack of cigarettes. It grabs one out of the half-empty pack, sticks a cigarette to its lips, and, with the other hand, lights a lighter. The wind crept back in and blew out the flame as it continued to pull its pranks. After a few attempts and the wind having its way, the figure cups the lighter, protecting the flame from the gusty prankster. The fire's glow revealed an aged, 30-something man who was past his prime. As the cigarette glows red, smoke starts puffing as the flame makes proper contact. He has a ginger beard and hair, with white spotted throughout, looking like a younger Santa Claus before his hair went completely white. The lines across his face are deep from years of stress, anxiety, and being beat like a drum, as the expression goes. There are crow's feet around tired blue eyes that sit behind a pair of glasses, looking just as worn and beat as the man. He sucks in the smoke, giving him some relief from tension, before pushing it back out of his lungs with a bit of a cough on the tail end of the exhale. "Damn things will probably kill me," he said as his gaze never left this one grave. His eyes stayed locked to this grave the whole time he was smoking the cigarette to the last drag. "Then, I'll be in here with you," he amused himself. He puts out the cigarette by pushing the cherry-lit end of the cigarette off with his thumb. Then he took the butt and put it in his pocket to be disposed of at a later time. He had spent too much time on a police call line to just throw the butt on the ground. A police call is the act of a group of people moving together in a straight line, picking up every bit of trash in an area from one point to another. It can get pretty disgusting sometimes with half-eaten food, chewed gum, used tobacco, and even cigarette butts. When you're the one picking up the litter, you don't want to generate more of it. The lightning illuminates everything once more, and a name appears across the tombstone: SPC Jerome Marsh. The following crack of thunder made the man shiver. He kneels down, with a little bit of a struggle, placing a quarter beneath the tombstone and touching it as tears start to well up in the man's eyes as he trembles out two words: "I'm sorry." He feels a swell of emotion inside him fill up. His heart starts to beat faster, he starts sweating, and he feels an inability to catch his breath despite breathing quickly. He feels as if there is pressure being pressed down on his chest. He sits down on the ground with his back against the tombstone for support. He didn't want to, but it was the closest thing to him he could use at the time. "Damn it, these damn things," he thinks. "Okay, we know what these are. Calm yourself, slow your breathing. Take slow and deliberate breaths." He takes a long breath in, hold it, and release it. He does this for a couple of minutes, feeling himself calming. There you go. Slow and deliberate. In and out. After a few minutes, he half regains his composure enough to lift himself on wobbly legs, wiping his face and trying to dry his eyes. He takes a long breath, places his glasses back on, and looks at the tombstone 1 minute longer. He turns to walk away from the grave, but as he takes a step, a hand breaks out of the dirt, grabbing him by the leg and tripping him. The man falls to the ground, in shock, as another hand breaks through the dirt and grabs his other leg. He looks in disbelief as a head breaks through momentarily, partly covered with maggots and a fatal gunshot wound. His heart starts to race again, followed by the sweating and breathing going haywire again. The corpse reaches up farther, grabbing the man's waist, and begins pulling downward, dragging the man down with the corpse back into the grave. As the corpse disappears back into the dirt, The man gets pulled down as well. He attempts to kick his legs to get loose, but his legs won't move. He tells his legs to move, but they won't, except for a little flinch or squirm. He tries to send signals to his arms to fight loose, but they are doing the same thing, only a flinch or squirm. His limbs have suffered a major malfunction. The man struggles with all his being to stay out, but to no avail. It's like quicksand. The more he tries to fight, the farther he sinks. All he can do before his head gets pulled under is scream out. Chapter 2. Oh, a body flails its way to life, swinging its limbs in all directions. All those little flinches and squirms that weren't going anywhere in the dream were fully engaged now. Arms, legs, fists, and feet are flying in every direction. The tussling ends with a hard thud on the cold floor, next to an old beat-up couch that looks like it should have been thrown out a while ago, and a coffee table that ran the length of the couch, a couple feet away from it. Ow. Pain. There is a familiar friend. No, that won't do. More like a marriage. No, no, no. I can't even compare to that either. Friends come and go, and marriages end. But pain, that's something that will stay no matter what. That is a real commitment. Yeah, a real commitment to me. It thought sadly. The body belonged to Henry Noble. His red hair was all disheveled, like a bird's nest on top of his head. To say that he looks as if he has seen better days is a statement that's all too obvious to make. As he lay there in agony, debating whether he should get up or not, like a Henry hot dog. He is the dog, and the couch and table are the bun around him. After a little back and forth with himself, he makes his decision. If I'm going to get up, I'm going to need some help. I'm going to need a friend. Henry lifted his bruised right hand up to a coffee table. The bruise is from an accident that occurred a couple of weeks ago. It accidentally fell into a mirror. He saw someone he didn't care much for, almost held a disgust for. Hated is too far, but close enough. The someone he has this feeling of disdain for is the man in the mirror, namely his own reflection. The hand reaches through a mixture of beer cans and bottles. He lifts one, analyzes its emptiness, feels a hint of grief, and throws it away, with a clank or a smack with the cans, or a bong, with an intact bottle, or a smash, as it breaks. He did this until he found one with some weight. A smile forms across his face when he finds his weighted buddy. Bingo! There you are, he tells himself. He drags the can off the table delicately. He doesn't want to spill a drop. He brought it down to his ear and swished it around in a circle so he could hear the contents inside the can. The sound of liquid medicine. You're my friend. You're there for me in my time of need. He spoke cheerfully to his hops-filled chum. He brings the can to his lips, drinks it, feeling sweet relief, and throws the can away with a clank. After the can left his hand, his face lost the smile again. Yeah, you're my friend. Here now, then gone like that. In one swig, he muttered with a grimace. He placed his hand on the table again and the other on the couch, which he called his bed. With a slight battle, he is able to push himself back onto the couch again. Still shaken up, Henry reaches for the table, finds his glasses, and puts them on. He examines the table in the dark, waiting for his eyes to adjust. He spots his target, a pack of cigarettes, amongst the clutter of beer cans and bottles scattered across it. He grabs them, pulls one out, moves it to his mouth, and looks back through the clutter to find the lighter. He locates the flame dispenser and ignites the white tube of tobacco, nicotine, and cancer attached to a tan filter. He sucks in the smoke, holds it until his body pushes back for some oxygen, and he exhales. Calm yourself there, Henry. Just a dream. Get them all the time, especially at. He pauses his thought and looks at the digital clock. It was sitting at 2 a.m. It was almost mocking him without saying a word. 2 o'clock, Henry said, agitated toward the clock. He took his left hand, stuck up this thumb, and left his index finger straight while bending the middle, ring, and pinky. He made himself a gun. He pointed the gun at the clock and dropped his thumb while saying, bang. In his mind, he just shot his time-tracking digital adversary. 2 o'clock, how I hate that time, he thought to himself as he took a drag on the cigarette. Henry ashed the cigarette on the floor. There is no need for an ashtray, so the floor is just fine. No one comes to see him, and he doesn't invite anyone over anyhow. It's not like he's trying to impress anyone. There is no one. So the floor is just fine for cigarette ashes, cigarette butts, beer cans, beer bottles, whiskey bottles, any other alcohol he gets his hands on in whatever container it comes in, and any other garbage that gets thrown there. The floor is just fine. There is no need for ashtrays, garbage cans, a vacuum, a broom, a mop, a bucket, or any other cleaning supplies. The floor is just fine. He leans back on the couch in his apartment, landfill, trying to find some comfort. He closes his bloodshot eyes, half from booze and the other half from lack of sleep. Also, by keeping them open, he can feel a pain behind them and a pounding in his head. He is just trying to get some relief anyway, if possible. Most of the time, it's alcohol, pills, or a mixture of pills and alcohol. Other times, he just tries to push through it with negative results. As he sat there in silence, a ringing started in his ear. He lifted his left hand and stuck his index finger in it, attempting to force the ringing to stop while opening and closing his mouth. Something he was told would help with it. He didn't know if it was true, but anything for relief. Getting frustrated, he said, "Fucking tinnitus," as he went through the motions. The ringing finally broke, and he heard a familiar jingle from the television. Da-da-da-da-da-da. It was the opening to MASH, the television show, not the movie. He opens his right eye, looks at the screen, and mouths, "Suicide is painless." He took a drag on his cigarette and closed his eye again.